Hello students, welcome to this video tutorial titled A Cube and Net. So let's open SketchUp 8. Let's start using SketchUp. Alright, so if you do not have this toolbar down the left hand side, here is how you access it. From the View menu at the top of the screen, click on View, hover your mouse over Toolbars, and click on Large Tool Set. If you click on that, you should get the second toolbar down the left-hand side. Okay, from the top toolbar, let's click on the rectangle tool. All right, let's bring the rectangle tool down towards the girl's feet. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a rectangle. So I want you to click once near the red line where I am. It's very important that you do not hold the mouse button down. So you click once to start the action, and then I'm just going to drag my mouse to the right and a little bit up. My finger is not on the mouse button. Now you notice that the square is left open. It's not filled in. If you clicked on the mouse button and held it, so I'm going to try to demonstrate that right now, you'll make it turn gray. So if you hold the mouse button down as you drag, and then if you let go of the mouse button, it'll turn in gray. It will finish the action. So you have to keep in mind that when you click on the mouse button, you do not hold the mouse button down, and I'm going to drag my rectangle out. Okay, so both hands on the keyboard. I want you to type in 30 cm, comma, space, 30 cm. So if you see in the bottom right hand corner here in the dimensions box, 30 cm, comma, space, 30 cm. And then I want you to hit enter. Now when you hit enter, it will lock that action, and it will draw a 30 centimeter by 30 centimeter square. You could not have done that if you held the mouse button as you dragged the mouse out. Okay, let's click on the zoom tool, the magnifying glass, and let's place the magnifying glass over that square and let's zoom in. Okay, so you see that the square is actually quite small in comparison to the height or the space that the girl takes up. All right, let's click on the push-pull tool. Okay, as we bring the push-pull tool down, we want to do the same thing with the mouse button. I want you to click once on the newly created square. Do not hold the mouse button down. Click once, and then you can start pulling upwards. Now you notice it's still in kind of a free motion here because the action is not locked. My finger is not on the mouse button. Now at any time, if you make a mistake, you can immediately go to Edit, Undo. Undo is always the first thing. Okay? All right, so I'm going to demonstrate that again. I'm going to click on push pull. I'm going to click once on the newly created square. Do not hold the mouse button down. I want to now push the mouse forward so that that square is being pulled up. Then, both hands on the keyboard, I want you to type in 30 cm, 30 centimeters. That's going to be the height of this cube box. Then hit enter. All right, once you hit enter, it locks that dimension into the computer. So now we've created a 30 centimeter by 30 centimeter by 30 centimeter cube. Okay, so let's label the sides. Down the left-hand side, let's look for the 3D text tool. So I want you to click on the 3D text tool, and when you do, this screen immediately pops up. Place 3D text. All right, so I want you to type in front. I want you to use the font called Arial Narrow. Okay, it's a font that begins with the letter A, so look in the A section, Arial Narrow. I want you to change it to bold. And then for the height, I want you to type in 4 cm. Make sure you don't have any space between the 4 and the cm. For the next box down, extruded, I want you to make sure that it's 0. Okay, so make sure you've got all these windows matching. We've got front, we've got Arial narrow for the font, we've got bold, we've got 4 cm with no spaces for the height, and 0 for extruded. So then I want you to click place. Now you'll see that it is now attached to my cursor. So what I want to do is I want to place it in the middle of the front face and then click once to lock it in. Okay? All right, so let's use the orbit tool and spin and have a look at the side of our cube. And let's do the same thing. Let's click on the 3D text tool. And now let's type in the word side. Now hopefully it remembered what you used the last time, but if it didn't, find Arial narrow as the font. Click bold. For the height, type in 4 cm. 4 cm, no space between the 4 and the cm. And for extruded, type in 0. Okay, make sure all the windows match mine. And then click place. All right, so let's place that letter, that label, in the middle of that side. Click when you're ready. Okay. All right, let's orbit around to the back now. Let's click on the 3D text tool. Let's type in back. Font, Arial narrow. Bold, 4 centimeters or 0.04 meters. It means the same thing. 4 centimeters equals 0.04 meters. And extruded 0. Click place and position that in the center of the back face. All right, let's orbit around to the other side. Let's click on 3D text tool. Let's type in side. Font is Arial narrow. Bold. Height is 4 centimeters or 0.04 meters. Extruded 0. Click place and then place that in the middle of that side. Okay, so let's now orbit to the top so we can see the top. Let's click on the 3D text tool. Let's type in top. Font, Arial narrow. Bold, 0.04 meters. And extruded of 0. Click place, and let's place that right on the top. Don't worry if it looks upside down, because if you just orbit around like this, it is no longer upside down, is it? Okay, so there's one more face to go, and that's the bottom. So let's use the orbit tool so that we are looking up at the cube from below the ground. Let's click on 3D text tool, and let's type in bottom. Font, Arial narrow. Bold, 0.04 meters, and extruded of 0. Click place. All right, so let's place this on the bottom. Okay. All right, so what we've done so far, we've created a cube that's 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters, and we've labeled all of the sides. All right, so let's do a critical step now. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I want to make sure that I position my camera so that I'm kind of looking at the front face at an angle where I can still see a little bit of the top and a little bit of the side. In other words, I don't want you straight on like this or even more straight on like that. I want you to be able to see 3 sides, but mainly, predominantly just the front. Okay, so we're going to do something called creating groups. So we need to use the pointer tool, the selection tool. So let's click on the selection tool in the top toolbar. So what I want you to do is I want you to click on the front face. The face means the side, right? So we're going to click on the front face, and you'll notice that it kind of is highlighted with the little dots. Then I want you to hold the Control key on your keyboard. If you look in the bottom left-hand corner of your keyboard, the Control key it has written on it CTRL. CTRL. So hold the Control key down this entire time. So I want you to hold it right now and don't let go until I tell you. So I've got the Control key pushed, and you'll see now my cursor has a plus sign attached to it. If I let go of control, that plus sign disappears. So I want to hold control, and I want to click now on the letters where it says front, and I want to carefully click on the 4 edges around that side. Do not click on the corners, click on the edges. Okay? All right, so I've highlighted the face, the letters, and the 4 edges. Now let go of the control key on your keyboard. All right, with my cursor still on that side, I want you to right click, and if you've done it correctly, you should have something called Make Group. Don't make component, make group. All right, so click on Make Group. So now what you've done is you've locked this side together as a group. The face, the letters, and the 4 edges are now one unit. Okay, so let's orbit around. Let's change the position of the camera. So now we're looking predominantly at the side, but I can still see the top and a little bit of the front. All right, so I'm going to click on the selection arrow. Now, you'll see that the front group is still highlighted. I don't want that highlighted when I start working on the side group. So make sure you click on the ground once, and you'll see it's no longer highlighted. Okay, let's go through the same procedure. Let's click on the side face. You see it's highlighted. Now hold the control key on your keyboard, hold it down until I say let go. Click on the letters, side, and click on the 4 edges, not the corners, the 4 edges. Okay, I'm making sure I'm very careful that I haven't highlighted anything else. Let go of the control key, right click somewhere in this blue area, right click, and choose Make Group. Okay, so now the side is locked together. All right, let's change the position of the camera. Let's orbit around. And now I want to look at the back, predominantly the back with a little bit of the top and a little bit of the side showing. So I'm going to click on the selection arrow tool, and I want to deselect. Click on the ground. I don't want this highlighted. So deselect, click once on the ground. This is no longer highlighted. All right, let's repeat those steps. Let's click on the back face, hold the control key, click on the letters back, and then click on the 4 edges here, the 4 edges. Okay, and only the 4 edges. Make sure you've clicked on nothing else by accident. Let go of the control key, right click on somewhere on the blue area, and choose Make Group. All right, let's change the position of the camera. So now I'm looking at this side predominantly. Now, if you have to swing around so that the girl's the legs aren't in the way, then make sure you're coming at it from this angle, where I can see predominantly this side. Okay, but you notice that this side that I just created, the back group, is still highlighted. So let's click on the selection arrow and let's click on the ground. See that it's no longer highlighted? Look, if I orbit around, it's no longer highlighted. All right, let's do the same thing. Let's click on the side face, hold the control key, click on the letters, and let's click on the 4 edges here. Okay, now let go of the control key, right click on the blue area, and choose Make Group. Okay, so now this side is locked. All right, so let's change the position of the camera. So we're looking at it predominantly from the top view. Let's click on the selection arrow tool. Let's deselect. I don't want this side selected. Deselect. Click on the top face, hold control, click on the top letters, click on the 4 edges of the top, not the corners, the 4 edges. Let go of control, right click, and choose Make Group. Now, there's one more side, isn't there? The bottom. But we're actually not going to rotate the bottom, so we don't have to make a group. You can, it doesn't hurt to, but we don't have to. Okay. All right, so we haven't saved this file yet, sorry. So let's go to File, Save As, and I want you to save it in your student number. Click the down arrow and look for your student number, and then I want you to save the file as cube, and then hit Save. Okay. All right, So the most exciting step is to come right now. So we're going to take this 3D shape and we're actually going to open it up and lay it flat into what's called a net. Okay, so let's work on the front face first. So let's use the selection arrow tool. Let's deselect, and now let's click on the front face. Now when you click on the front face, nothing else should be highlighted in blue. That's how you know that you're going to have success. If anything else is highlighted in blue, then you did not create the groups correctly. All right, so I've clicked on the front face. So we're going to use a new tool, the rotate tool. So let's click on the rotate tool. It looks like two spinning red arrows. All right, so this tool takes a little bit of practice. So I'm going to try to walk you through it here. So what we want to do is we want to position the center of that tool on the bottom right hand corner. It should probably say endpoint in group. You're going to click and hold the mouse button. I know with this program we usually don't hold the mouse button, but hold the mouse button and trace along this line until you get to the opposite corner where it says endpoint, and then let go of the mouse button. All right, so the last part is somewhere high on the face, not low on the face, but high on the face, I want you to click once. Don't hold the mouse button. Click once on your mouse button. Don't hold it. And that should allow you to swing down that side. Now where you want it to stop, you want it to lay it flat on the ground. So you see there's a guiding line here where there's a dotted line. So what we want to do is we want to line up that line along the edge, this bottom edge of the box. So when you've got it lined up, then click a second time to lock that movement. And now, have a look. Did that side lie flat on the ground? Yes, it did. Okay. All right, so let's try the next one. Let's click on the selection arrow tool and let's deselect. Click on the ground. Now let's click on this group. If I clicked on this group, nothing else should be highlighted in blue. Let's use the rotate tool. We're going to start in this corner this time where it says endpoint. We're going to click and hold the mouse button and trace along the bottom edge till you get to the opposite corner. Once you get to this point, let go of the mouse button. Now, click once high on the face. Click once, but don't hold the mouse button down. And that will start the action. Move your mouse. And when you want it to end the action, click a second time. And that will end the action. Now, if I use my orbit tool, I want to make sure that it laid down flat. And that's perfect. Okay. So hopefully you're getting the hang of this. So let's try to rotate the back now. So let's change tools to the selection arrow tool. Let's deselect, click on the ground first, then click on the back group. Click on the rotate tool. We're going to start in this corner. It doesn't matter which corner you start in. I can start on this corner. We're going to click, hold the mouse button, go across the bottom edge to the opposite corner. Once you get here where it says endpoint, let go of the mouse button. Then high on the face, click once, don't hold the mouse button, and then you should be able to rotate it flat down. When you want it to stop, click a second time. Okay, and then always check that it laid down flat. Very good. Okay, so we've got two sides to go. So there's a little bit different twist to this, okay? If we just go the regular way and we rotate this side down, the top will be kind of stranded, like kind of floating in air. So what we want to do is we want to click on this side and then hold the control key and then click on this group. Now, I don't want to create a group out of the two groups. I only want to highlight the two groups. So a lot of people make a mistake at this point and make another group. I don't want you to make another group. So I'm going to repeat. I'm going to click once on this group, hold the control key, and then click on this group. Okay? So all I've done is I've selected two groups. I haven't made a new group. Let's click on the rotate tool. And let's start in the bottom corner. Let's click and hold the mouse button. Trace across that line till you get to the opposite corner. Let go of the mouse button. Now high on the side face, click once, and then you'll see you are actually rotating two groups at once. Very exciting. All right, once you've got it hit the ground, click to end that action. All right, so now we just have the one group. So let's change tools to the selection arrow tool. Let's deselect. Let's click on the last group. Now, when you click on the last group, nothing else should be highlighted. All right, click the rotate tool, and let's do this one more time. We click on the bottom right-hand corner, we hold the mouse button, we trace across to the opposite corner, we let go of the mouse button. We click high on the face, and then we rotate it down. When it's hit the ground, when we want it to stop, we click again. And there we go. Now let's position the camera high above, so now we can see the net for the cube. Amazing. We took a 3D solid and we opened it up to create a 2D net. So I want you to file and save it, and then I want you to call Mr. Ueda over to show him what you've accomplished. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.